Hi everyone. I just wanted to share some of what God's been speaking to me about recently. Last week I really wasn't looking forward to this week. My husband Jim was meant to go back to work full time, having been working from home since March, leaving me at home alone with a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old with additional needs. COVID-19 has made that a bit more complicated than it ordinarily would have been, leaving me feeling like I was really going to struggle to cope. I told myself that it isn't as bad as it could be, others are in a worse position. I told myself I should be able to cope. The first may be true, some others are in a worse position, but comparison is so unhelpful because it leaves us feeling like we have to deny how we're feeling. The second is unfair. It's a lie that we as a society believe that we should be able to cope on our own. We put people who seem to have it all together on a pedestal. It's something to attain to, always being positive and in control of our emotions, rarely being affected much by the struggles of life, and not needing to be vulnerable. This only exacerbates the feeling of loneliness. According to research done by the British Red Cross in 2016, almost 1 in 5 people in the UK said they were always or often lonely, but almost 2/3 felt uncomfortable admitting it. Now, with COVID-19, almost 1 in 3 people often feel alone and like they have no one to turn to. We were meant to live in community. We weren't meant to do everything alone, not to mention the fact that it's totally valid to struggle and feel weak at times, to not want things to have to be as they are. Even Jesus asked for the cup to be taken from him in the Garden of Gethsemane. I took my concerns to God and he asked me if I trusted him to supply my every need. The thing is, I know that he often supplies our need through others, and I didn't much like the idea of having to heavily rely on them. But he reminded me of a word that Joy gave me, that I will have times of strength and I will have times of weakness. He told me he'll work in both, and that he's for me. We aren't meant to have it sorted all of the time and feel shame when we need to rely on others. He's made us to be interdependent, not independent. He told us to love our neighbours as ourselves. There are so many ways that we can still do that, even in the midst of a pandemic. Something as simple as sending a text to see how someone is, or with a word of encouragement, which I've loved being able to do on a moment on some of my less crazy days. If you get a chance, I'd encourage you to read and meditate on Romans 12, as it talks about some of the ways that we can be that loving neighbour. You may feel like me that you barely have any reserves for anyone else right now, and that's okay. He wants to help and hold you. Let him. Be honest with him. He already knows and he wants to connect with you. If you're already feeling a bit stronger, or you've got a bit more time to sit in his presence, be filled up, and then give from the strength that he's given you, then I'd love to encourage you to ask God if there's anyone he wants you to encourage and how he'd like you to encourage them. And if you're already doing that, which is brilliant, then ask God what the next step is and how to go even deeper with him and with others. Have a great day.